Hello, fifth grade. Welcome to your first online music class. Today we are going to be talking a bit more about the music staff and the different clefs that we've been learning about, the treble and the bass clef. I know that we've already been working on that a little bit, and first, before we go into bass clef a little more, I am going to review the treble clef staff with you guys. So here we have a music staff with the treble clef on there, and let's go over the letter names that are on the treble clef staff. So we know that the line notes are every good boy deserves fudge. So we've learned that in class, that is how we remember the letter names of the line notes on the treble clef staff. So I'm just going to write those letter names in there. So E, G, B, D, and F. And if you guys remember the word that we use to remember the space notes, go ahead and say that right now. Face. So I will put in our space notes now, and those are going to spell face. F-A-C-E. And as you can see, this is just follows our regular alphabet, stops at G, and starts over at A. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then the next note would be G, and so on. So then right before E, the letter in the alphabet that would come right here would be D. So we'll put a D right there. And then we have the note that goes right before that in the alphabet would be C. This note that we put on a little line underneath the treble staff is called middle C. These little lines that we use to put notes below the staff and above the staff, so if we go at F and then G here, this would be A on that. These little lines are called ledger lines. Ledger lines are lines that we use to show that a note goes either above or below the staff that we're using. So now that we've reviewed treble clef, I'm going to add another staff that's going to have a bass clef. So here's our other staff, our lower staff that has a bass clef, and we've been learning a little bit about the bass clef and what notes go on the bass clef. So let's go ahead and add those notes that go on the bass clef, starting with the notes that we've learned. So we've learned the letter names for this, and there's another phrase for the bass clef for learning the line notes. And I really like Great Big Ducks Fly Away. That one is my personal favorite. But if you have another one that's your favorite, you can use that one. But I really like Great Big Ducks Fly Away. So great, that would be a G. Big is B. Ducks is D. Fly is F. And away is A. So I'm going to write those letter names underneath Great Big Ducks Fly Away. And there's a phrase that we use to remember the space notes for the bass clef. And that's usually all cows eat grass. So all would be A, cows is C, eat is E, grass is G. So I'm going to write those letter names underneath. All cows eat grass. Now if we go one letter up from A, I'm going to erase these treble clef letters for a moment. If we go one up from A, the next letter in the musical alphabet would be B. So we'll put a B here. And then we're going to put a ledger line, that new word that we learned today, ledger line, above our bass clef. And put a note here. This is C. This is middle C. So the middle C is the very same middle C that we put right here below the treble clef line. So we call this middle C because this is the middle note right in between the treble clef and the bass clef. Now we can connect these two staffs together, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to put a line right here to connect these two. And sometimes these staffs are connected also with one of these things. When we connect the two staffs together, I'm going to go on this side so we can see a little better. When we connect these two together, this is called the grand staff. So this is a word we want to remember. Now when we see two staffs connected like this, making a grand staff on a piece of music, that means whatever is written on this staff and this staff are playing at the same time. So what normally would happen for the treble clef is we'd see treble clef music written for higher instruments or higher voices. So when I say words like when we're singing, if I say soprano and alto, those are two voice types that would go on the treble clef staff. So soprano means the higher notes on the treble clef, and alto means the lower notes on the treble clef, but both soprano and alto would be on the treble clef. The bass clef would be usually for male men's voices, so that would be bass voices or baritone voices sometimes. For instruments, the treble clef would normally be for violin, flute, trumpet, instruments like that. That would be in a higher note range. For the bass clef, instruments such as the cello and the bassoon and the tuba would play in bass clef. Now, 5th grade, I would like you to grab a pencil and a piece of paper, and we are going to draw a grand staff together. So if you need to pause the video to go get those things, go ahead and do that right now and come right back, and we are going to draw a grand staff together. So the very first thing we want to start with is the treble clef staff. So when we make a staff, the staff has 5 lines. So make sure your staffs have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is okay if your lines are not perfectly straight. It took me a lot of practice and I still don't have perfectly straight lines. So here's going to be my treble clef staff. And I'm going to put my treble clef on here, and this will be good practice for us to draw the treble clef So we start with on the G line, because another name for the treble clef is the G clef. We start with a little dot on the G line, and then we start making a loop like this, and then we wrap it around like we're almost going to make a circle, but then we go straight up and make a big loop here at the top and go down, and then a little hook on the bottom. Now we're going to draw our bass clef staff. So we'll draw 5 lines for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, not very straight, but that's okay. And our bass clef starts on the great big ducks fly away. So on the F line, we're going to put our dot here to start. And then this one's a little easier. We just kind of hook and go down around. And then, because this is also called an F clef, and we start on F, we're going to put these 2 little dots on either side of that F line. Now to make it a grand staff, we're going to connect them together like this. And if you really want to, you can put one of these little lines like that to connect them. And then we're going to draw all the notes on these guys. So for the treble clef, we're going to start with C, middle C. So draw a ledger line underneath there to draw your C. Put D, E, F, and remember when we make notes, they're going to fill up the whole space. Or if they're on the line, we want the line to go kind of right in the middle of the note. F, G, oh, this is a big space. A, B, C, and I don't have any more room. But that is okay. Whatever you have room for on your staff, just put that there. And as you can see, it is not perfect, and that is okay. As long as our notes are very clear, whether they are in a space or on a line, that is the most important thing. So on our bass clef, let's just go ahead and start on G down here. A, and then B, C, D, E, F, G, and A. Then once you have all of your notes on your staff, or as many as you can fit on there, go ahead and write down those letter names underneath, just for practice. So this would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Down here below the bass clef, this would be G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A. All right, that is our lesson today on the grand staff, and I hope you guys had fun learning about that and that you drew a very nice grand staff and that helped you be able to draw a nice grand staff. I really look forward to being able to be in the classroom and make music with you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.